Welcome to Silver Bar Stacker, folks. I hope everybody's doing well and enjoying their Fractional Friday. That's right, folks. Today is Fractional Friday here at Silver Bar Stacker, and that means that we've got a new SBS drop featuring 5 stack packs this week of a wide variety of fractional silver. And so we're going to be getting into each of these specific stack packs to show you what we got going on. And we've also got a new USVI pickup that I wanted to show you, a nice scarce one. And so we'll get into that as well. But before we do that, let's get into the contents of this week's stack packs and maybe go over the rules for people who are maybe new to the concept of the SBS drop. Now, the SBS drop is something that we do on our website. It's basically a way for us to make a wide variety of different types of silver and gold more accessible to the stacking community. And so we have a couple different types of drops that we do each week. We actually have a Stack Pack Sunday drop, which is definitely our most popular. That one usually features a nice selection of vintage precious metals. But then we've also started introducing a Fractional Friday drop, which is a little bit more accessible, kind of in the $20 to $30 range, and it features a little bit more smaller denominational silver, meaning stuff under 1 ounce, right? And so this week we've got a very accessible SBS drop. This one's actually only $20 per entry, and in fact each household is limited to 2 slots. Usually we do a single slot, but last week what we started doing was we did a limit of 2 per entrant per household, and that actually worked out kind of well, and it kind of gamified it a little bit more because you didn't know how quickly the things would sell out. And so we got 5 stack packs available, a total of a limit of 2 per entrant. And so let's get straight into this. Let's see what we got going on here. Now, this first stack pack over here, this has got a nice selection of 2 grams. Okay, 2 single grams. Yep, you might be like, wow, $20, 2 grams, what a ripoff. Well, these aren't just any grams of silver. This right here on the bottom is actually a Generation 1 Geiger 1 gram silver bar, still in the original factory seal, and this thing is discontinued now, folks. It's a pretty cool bar. This thing has got a nice little, I don't know if you can see that there, but it's got a nice ribbed edge there, which is pretty cool. And this is still in the original factory seal. And it's got the castle there on the back as well. I just love these little 1 gram bars, and in fact these come in fractional sets. There's actually multiple denominations for this. So this is the 1 gram variety. There's also a 5 grammer that we've got in this week's prize pool as well. And this is one of the only 2 stack packs in this week's prize pool that features a SBS Slim Stacker. So if you're wanting to get your hands on one of these, this is one of the only opportunities right now on our website for you to be able to grab yourself a Slim Stacker. So take a look at that, and this is something that you may be going home with, 2 proof-like single gram bars. Very cool fracks here. Now, fracks aren't for everyone, that's for sure. I know AG Stacker recently did a video on fracks, and you know, he's always doing videos on fracks because he quite frankly loves fracks. He likes fractional flakes of gold. He likes fractional everything, right? So he's a frack fanatic, right? Now, speaking of frack fanatic and speaking of AG Stacker, AG Stacker 1776 channel round is actually made by Monarch Precious Metals, and in fact I'm sure he's got a nice collection of Monarch Precious Metals fractional silver, because I know Monarch Precious Metals is kind of into that thing, right? And so here we have a very, very nice Monarch Precious Metals fractional bar. I really love this sort of a wafer bar, I would call it, because it is wafer thin. It is wafer thin. And this has been pressed almost like as thin as gold. And this right here is a very unique Monarch Precious Metals fractional, because this is an old one. This is discontinued. You're not going to really be able to find these very easily anymore. And so that's what I like about this Monarch Precious Metals bar. It's a portrait style bar. It's a portrait style 5 gram bar. And what I really like about it, other than the fact that it comes with a complimentary Silver Bar Stacker Slim Stacker, is that the back is very cool. Kind of reminds me of Johnson Matthey a lot, actually, right? So this right here, I'd be gunning for this one, honestly, because the Monarch Precious Metals 5 gram bars that look like this, they don't make them anymore. So if you're trying to just add a unique frac to your stack, this is kind of a twofer. So this is a pretty cool one. 6 grams as opposed to 2 grams right here. I'd be gunning for this one, even though this one's in the original factory seal. I do put value on that personally, but a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't quite care if it comes in the original factory seal, and a lot of people would much rather have more weight than have something in the original factory seal. If it comes in the original factory seal, yeah, they'll probably take it over the one without. Some people don't even do that. Some people literally don't care. But I would say that a 6 grammer, going home with a 6 grammer would be much cooler. Either way, they're both very, very interesting fractionals, and so I like those a lot. Now, we were looking at this 1 grammer right here, right? This 1 gram Geiger with the ribbed edge. This is a Generation 1 now discontinued fractional. Well, here is a little bit of a chunkier one. Here we've got a 5 grammer. So you notice the thickness difference. That one's a little bit thinner, and this one's a little bit of a chunker. Because the diameter is almost, it's pretty similar. I mean, it's just a little bit bigger. It's just a little bit bigger. You know what I'm saying? So, wow. Talk about blurry. Talk about blurry. So, this right here is a nice little chunker. A 5 gram chunker. But this one right here, you'll notice, while it does come in the original factory seal, there is no SBS Slim Stacker within this stack pack. So you're roaming free without one. You might even feel a little bit naked without a Slim Stacker here, but such is life, There's only 2 that have Slim Stackers. So this is the 3rd fractional stack pack that you could be going home with. Now, let's start getting into some of these weightier collectible ones. Here's a set of 1994 fractional Libertads. You've seen these on the channel before. We've run specials on these before. And I happen to have a nice stack of these, and so I'm trying to include these in some fractional stack packs here and there. So here's a set of a 10th ounce and a 1/4 ounce 1994 fractional Libertad. And so these things come at a hefty premium. The newer ones have even lower mintages. These, I think, have around a mintage of about 90,100 per coin, right? So 90,100 of these and 90,100 of these. But some of the more modern ones are even much lower mintage, right? I've got these half-ounce Libertads from 2015. Those are only 16,000 minted. That's very, very low mintage, right? So that's why a lot of these come at a heftier premium. And then the fact that these are fractionals, right? I mean, I've seen some of these sell for, $20, $25 a pop easy, just for a single one. So this is a really, really nice one to snag if you're going to be snagging one. And remember, it's 2 per household. So you could, if you're quick enough, right? I mean, if two people go for 2, then there's only 1 left. That's only 3 people who can enter. But if you're quick on the draw, you might even be able to grab 2 slots, and then you have a better chance of getting that. And now this is one of the other ones. Now, for those who are trying to just stack fractional weight, this is what I would say is the best, because this is giving you a full 10 grams. They're a little bit more on the generic side, right? Like these. This is just a strip of 5 Valcambi combi bars, right? So a single gram is kind of stuck together. And then these are a little bit more premium. Geiger, they're serialized squares. These are the current generation, so these aren't really difficult to come by. I wouldn't say you could get these very easily. They're very easily accessible, but they come at a much heftier premium compared to the Valcambi grams. Like the Valcambi grams, you can get those for, if you're buying them, by the sheet, you can get them for under probably under $2 a gram for sure. These are gonna, these you buy in multi-packs, these are gonna cost you definitely, double that probably. So, but the reason for that is because these have like a very unique security feature on the back on a 1 gram bar, believe it or not, in that they're serialized, and you can actually verify this by putting this under a black light. These have a very multiple layers of security features, which is very, very cool and very, very excessive in my opinion for a 1 gram bar, but very cool, right? You're stacking usually fracs because they're cool. I wouldn't advise personally, not that I should be advising anything, but personally, I guess I should say, I don't personally stack fracs for the purposes of prepping, right? Like I'm not doing it usually for the purposes of like, oh, I'm going to need this for bartering purposes. Do I use them for bartering purposes? Yes, even currently I would say that I use fractionals for bartering purposes, but I'm not waiting for the world to end to be able to use fractionals for bartering purposes, and I'm not stacking these en masse for the purposes of using these for bartering purposes, thinking that, you know, there's not going to be any other way to barter, right? Because I don't think this would be the first choice for people to barter, but that doesn't mean that people wouldn't want to barter with these types of things and that they don't already barter with these types of things like I do. if I have to throw in a little tip, or if we if we need to if I'm doing a trade and I need to kind of settle up a couple bucks, maybe we'll just throw some fracks in there, right? If the recipient is up for it. So I do like to use these as change as well, and I do that now. So that's just what I'm saying. So here are the stack packs. Right now you can go ahead on the website. The link is live and in the description, and take a look at these. Now, this is the new pickup that I was able to grab. These right here are extremely, extremely rare USVI ingots, and these are dated actually 1981, so they're 1981 USVI ingots, but these are very special ones in that they feature this big vertical 1 on the front, and I managed to pick up a nice lot from a collector. I'm super excited because this, by far, out of all the chunky stackers, there's a big variety of chunky stackers. This, to me, was the most difficult one to find out of the ones that are actual chunky stackers, and so I was super excited to pick up a nice lot of 5 of these because I had only had 3 of them to begin with. Yeah, like I'd only had 3 of these to begin with, so I'm super duper excited to add these to the stack. Like let's take a closer look at one of these. Interesting. 172. I think I have a different lot number too. Yes, I do. So the lot number on these, if you can see it, is on all of them is A171S. You can't see it probably very easily because it's in the plastic still, but right here, yeah, there it is, A171S. Okay, so all of these assay lot numbers are A171S. Now, take a look at this. This is A172S. A172S. So this is a different assay lot number than this lot. So I picked this up from one collector. I got this probably from some other collector. And these ones right here, folks, are also both A172S. So we've got 2 different assay lot numbers on our hand for the big 1 chunky stacker. So that's very cool. I'm very excited about that because it's always interesting as a diehard collector when you're able to find variations of 2 extremely rare bars. Now there's two different types out there, and I'm sure there's other assay lots out there for the big 1 bars. Now here we have an A-Mark Precious Metals stamped bar. So this looks just like your normal AM logo, right? It looks like a normal AM chunky stacker, which, you know, these are a dime a dozen. You can find these all day, every day. They come at a hefty premium, but you can find them. You know, they're accessible. But what makes this one different right here is that on the back here, instead of it saying USVI Ingot Company 1981, it says A-Mark Precious Metals there on the back. And HD Dyno Lowrider was very nice enough to actually gift me one of these. I did actually have some of them already, but he was able to just pick one of these up from his local coin shop, just at a very reasonable price. And you know, his local coin shop didn't know what they had, but he knew what he had once he got home and started doing his research. And this right here, folks, is an extremely difficult to come by USVI ingot. You'll see these types of bars with this front all the time that are dated, but the undated USVI ingots that say A-Mark precious metals in the back are much more difficult to find in the 1 ounce variety. Now, the 10 ounce variety, I would say that's the case as well, but I have seen a lot of the A-Mark precious metals on the 10 ounce variety as well. This right here, you got a nice lot of San Diego Coin Exchange ingots. This right here is also very elusive, also very difficult to come by USVI stacker. Okay, this one actually also has a couple different reverses. You've got on this one, you've got on the back it says 1 ounce Troy, like that, 1 OZ Troy, but you've also got other versions of this where it will just say 1 ounce Troy written out. So that's another difference. So anyways, the USVI ingots are expansive, and there's so many of them, and that's all I gotta say. I'm super excited to pick up a new lot of some rare ones. Cheers!
Before I go, I wanted to mention one thing that I had noticed. I was up on eBay and I was looking at a couple bids on a couple bars that I did not bid on, because when I saw them, I immediately recognized them as not genuine USVI ingots. Now, USVI ingots, from my understanding and according to many of the other USVI hardcore collectors that I've seen, I've never seen something like this, and this is not at all the style of a authentic USVI ingot. Assay lots are not serial numbers, those are duplicated, and so this right here, folks, these are closing at crazy premiums, but you got to be very careful. And this came from a seller, from my understanding, that had a lot of feedback, and they were just selling it as something that was their father's, according to them, that they didn't know the history of. But people who are big collectors of certain bars such as this, they know that this is not an authentic bar. And so, is it real silver? Yes, but this is not, from my understanding and from all the deep research that I've done on USVI ingots, this does not look like an authentic USVI ingot to me. So be careful out there, folks.